Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It is finally that time. It is Cardfight Vanguard anime season, and the first episode just dropped. And I'll be real with you, I didn't even know the episode was coming out this week. I hadn't been paying attention to the release date for the anime, so when my buddy told me, "Yeah, season premiere is starting right now," I'm watching it, and I was just like I started seeing screenshots of some of the stuff in the episode, and I was like, oh my god, I got to cover this. I had a whole different video coming out today, so we're gonna ban this out, guys. There's a couple things I want to talk to you about. Let me know down in the comments how you guys feel about this. We can continue doing episode reviews the way we've been doing them, or another thing I can do. I can't do a full-blown reaction simply because of copyright. I've used to do anime reactions on my channel, and I could never figure out how to avoid copyright as much as I've tried. So what I could do is I could do a kind of watch along format where I record myself watching the episode, tell you guys where I start, pause it and all that, and you guys can see my genuine reaction and talk about the cards as soon as they get played and things like that. Or we could keep things the way they are with me talking about stuff that happened and screenshots and all that. You guys let me know how you guys want to see me do it for this season, and we could try it out. But for at least this first episode, let's talk about it. You guys enjoy the content, drop a like on the video, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Let's jump in. Let's talk about the season premiere. So, episode kicks off, and it's already starting off with some flames. We get Alden, Protection Alden, Faded One, versus Draw Jeweled. And Alden gets nuked by Draw Jeweled. And as soon as Alden gets blown away, we see that it was Michiru playing a game with Jinky, and of course, Michiru wins because Michiru is kind of that guy. And they're talking about, of course, the finals and whatnot. Jinky saying that Michiru might be able to reach the ultimate they've been talking about, the ultimate fight. They like their whole goal of the uniformers from day one when Gui used to be a bad guy. And Michiru's just like, I'm nowhere near that. It would take a miracle. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. And Jinky's like, the finals of the Deluxe, you might see a miracle. And then they start talking about how they have high hopes for the finals of the Deluxe, especially that boy who beat Kagetsu Yakumo, the boy of miracles. And it shows a clip of Akina. Akina does some craziness. Then we get the opening, and of course, the opening is fun. It sounds great. The imagery is awesome. A couple things that really stood out, though. First off, we get to see the boss units of every deck going into the finals, and two of them in particular stand out. We've got a new form of Liela Morta, and of course, we've got Ruka's boss unit, which I'm really interested to see what that card's going to do. Then the second thing that we see that stands out is that Yu Yu has shown back up with a whole new design. Obviously aged up a little bit. Yu Yu was the main character of Overdress and Will Dress and was a champion for one of the previous deluxes. So that's cool that they brought him back. Like, we've seen him in some promotional art for the next set, but didn't know that he was going to be also in the anime. After the intro to the episode and the actual opening, we finally start the episode, and it opens up with Akina's class, and it's, we see this typical in high school anime where they talk about what you're going to do with your future and kind of like a job, like what your dream job is. And of course, we know since last season that Akina now wants to be a professional card fighter, and that's what he writes on his worksheet, which is cool. Of course, I'm glad they're going to follow up on that. We also see a flashback of him telling Now about his goal to catch up to her now. We get a little shot of Suo and Kuon playing in the background, and Akina and his friend, whose name I forget, but they're talking about going to Megami's card shop to go hang out, play some games. But we go back over to the hall for the Deluxe, and apparently they announced this at the end of last season, like between last season and this season. We got the matchups for the actual finals of the Deluxe. So first off, they did it randomly, but the way they did this, I'm both really excited and really pissed the fuck off. So let's start off. I'm also, not only am I going to talk about the matchups, I'm going to tell you guys who I think is going to win. So first off, we got Kagetsu and Ruka. Of course, I thought these two were going to fight way later in the tournament, but the fact is they're fighting right away. And who's going to win this? This one, I'm leaning toward Kagetsu because, he's got his little feelings grudge with Ruka. But Ruka's also supposed to be a badass, and this is her first season and her first deck, and she's the leader of Blackout, or the ex-leader of Blackout, so she could win, but I'm leaning toward Kagetsu purely because of a story perspective. Another thing I love is when they announced the matchup, Kagetsu was gassed. Like, you could see like the light really come back to his eyes. I had mentioned this at the end of the last episode where she walked in and he was like losing his mind, and he was just so happy because remember, she was his whole reason for trying to get strong, because he wanted to catch up to her after she beat him. But anyway, next matchup, we got Suo versus Erika. I think this one, Erika's going to take it. I love Suo. Blangmeyer Nexus is a boss, but we've already seen in the opening that Erika's going to have a new Liel Immorta, and there's no way that she's going to have a new form of Liel and lose, especially not in the first round. No way. The third matchup upsets me because it's Mirei versus Michiru. And I'm sorry, I love Mirei. She's my girl. Bafsagra is the top deck in the game right now, but she's losing. Let's be real. It's Michiru. Everybody is going to lose to Michiru until he fights Akina. That's just how it's going to happen. And Bafsagra kind of dominated the IRL TCG. There's no way they're going to give her more support. I'm sorry. It's just not going to happen. And then, of course, we got Akina versus Megumi. And unfortunately for Megumi, Akina's got, protagonist syndrome, so she's losing. Then we actually got the order of the fights, which I thought was interesting that they did this, because they announced the fights in a certain order and they changed up the order of how the fights are actually going to go. Up first, though, is Ruka versus Kagetsu. That's going to be fire. That should be next episode. Or at least it should start next episode. That's going to be a hell of a fight for us to cover, because you guys know I love the mythic. I'm just going to call it mythics. You guys know I love the mythic deck. Yeah, English. Then, of course, we got Mirei versus Michiru. Third is going to be Erika versus Suo, and lastly will be Akina versus Megumi. And the awesome thing is, because it's a bracket style tournament, we've got like 9 matches throughout the course of the tournament, so it's going to be good. It's going to be good. I love a good tournament arc. We cut over to Akina at his day job with Now, and he is trying to figure out ways for him to get stronger, trying to figure out how he's going to train to go up against Megumi. He's talking about studying her deck, and Now kind of tells him to chill out, that he's got a week and no manner of training is going to get him stronger in a week, and said he should focus on what he's good at, which is, his motivations, his adaptability, how fast he can learn, and just do his thing to get ready for the fight, as opposed to trying to do something that's going to throw him off the rails. Now also drops a bombshell on him that she's quitting her part-time job to focus on college and her career as a card fighter, which it's nice to see that even though Now has been, kind of pushed back from the tournament since she was eliminated from the tournament, they're still giving her some sort of character development, showing that she's still growing as a character. Akina ends up taking the bus home, and while he's thinking about Now quitting his job, he gets surprised by Jinky just appearing. He literally just appears next to him, and at first he doesn't even realize it's him. But Jinky invites Akina to the headquarters of the Uniforce to see the ultimate, which he's kind of started to nickname Michiru, because he thinks Michiru is like the ultimate card fighter. When Jinky and Akina get to the Uniformer's headquarters, Kagetsu's there chilling, and Kagetsu is just like, "Oh, you invited me here to meet the ultimate too." And then Michiru walks in, and he's like, "Oh, aren't you the ultimate?" And yeah, he's basically bringing all these great card fighters together. And then we cut over to Erika at the beach with Hikari, and they're talking about Akina and how they're happy that he finally has a goal for himself, as opposed to always sacrificing for everybody else, sacrificing for them. But then Erika reaffirms that she wants to win the Deluxe and start her journey as a pro card fighter. So it's cool seeing everybody, basically battling for their future. We also find out a little something about Hikari, both Hikaris, and how they got interested in Cardfight Vanguard. While they were in the hospital, still sick because of Sybilt, they met another patient, and together they watched the first Deluxe, and they watched Yu versus Raika. And it made them fall in love with Vanguard, and since then they've wanted to compete. We get another cut over to Taizo and Kiyoma, and it turns out that they built the stadium that the Deluxe finals are going to be held in. So that's cool, because, they're businessmen and they're rich and they love Cardfight Vanguard, so why the fuck not? We cut over to Ruka. Like, this whole episode cuts between all of the finalists, showing them doing different things. We get to see Ruka, and she's at Blackout's meeting spot, the park. It's like an amusement park, like a shutdown amusement park. And she starts having memories, flashbacks of when she was part of Blackout. And because remember, she's one of the people that started Blackout. Tamari shows up and basically gets on Ruka's case for disappearing. But they talk about the past of Blackout and the present Blackout, and it's a nice wholesome scene seeing the history of this team kind of talked about right there. After we have that little flashback about, you know, past and present Blackout, we jump back to the Uniformers headquarters where Kagetsu and Michiru are talking about how they used to fight. Michiru was happy to see Kagetsu come back, and he actually challenges Kagetsu right there, and Kagetsu's like, yeah, we'll fight, but let's wait until the finals because I've got, you know, my own stuff to worry about. We cut over to Suo. Suo's hanging out with Kuon, Shizune, which, you know, they're all friends now, and he's beating the shit out of Akina's friend, who's, again, name I can't, he's like the one character whose name I can't remember. But Suo is in, you know, perfect form. Erica, though. Erica is sitting there hugging Gabrielius, and you know what? They harped on a story beat that I had totally spaced out. She's thinking about going up against Suo, and I forgot how big of a deal this is for her, because she despises Suo. Because remember, in her timeline, Suo killed Akina. He killed all of their friends. I totally forgot about that. I wasn't even thinking about it until she brought it up, but that she's always going to hate Suo. So now she has the chance to basically, in her mind, get revenge for the death of Akina because of the Suo in her timeline killing everybody. And I just thought that was an awesome callback to the very first season of the Divinez anime, which feels so long ago now. Back with Akina and Michiru. Michiru basically challenges Akina, and Akina's ready to fight, but Jinky's like, nah, save it for the Deluxe. I want your first fight to be, you know, for everybody. It's gonna be great. We got a quick flash of Ruka fighting another character I haven't seen in a while, Toya. Because remember, Toya was leader of Blackout for a little while. So they end up fighting. Ruka beats his ass. And yeah, they're laughing about it, saying it was a great experience. And then my girl, Mireille, my favorite character, we see her playing some Vanguard at the Daybreak headquarters, and she's all gassed up, and everybody is like, hey, what's going on, Mireille? You seem really happy. And she's like, I get to catch up with someone from my past who changed me for the better. And we all know it's gonna be you. And again, I didn't know he was gonna just show up. Back at Blackout, we see Megumi watching everybody talking after Ruka beat Toya, and she's talking with Tomari and talking about how great Ruka is, how great all the past leaders of Blackout are, and how she doesn't compare. And Tomari kind of gives her a pep talk, explaining to her that she's strong, but she's always lacked the confidence. She's always kind of doubted on herself, and that's caused a big problem now. But she's like, I know I'm strong and I'm good. She's basically gaining the courage to be able to do well, because she is a badass. She whooped ass with Magnolia, and honestly, I have friends IRL who are playing the deck and going ham with it. Granted, she's gonna lose because she's playing against Akina, and he's the pro tag, but it sucks because Megumi always gets hoed. As the episode starts to wrap up, we get to see some other things. For example, how Ruka got invited to the Deluxe. It turned out that Masanori actually went looking for her, and he even said it was a pain in the ass to find her, but he did end up finding her and got her to join because of all the strong fighters. We also found out why Toya didn't enter, because Toya is a huge competition fighter. He's been in a lot of Deluxes, but it turned out Homeboy went to Alaska to play some Vanguard, and yeah, by the time he got back, it already started. So Akina gets home, talks to Hikari, gets a message from Erica that she's going to win. We get a little training montage of everybody. We cut over to Kagetsu, and we see Kagetsu pulling out his old jacket. So he's probably going to rock the old uniform when he finally goes up against Ruka, and that's awesome. We start seeing the closing credits. Akina shows up at the venue. We see behind him, Yu shows up, which I thought was awesome. We get a final flash of all our participants as everybody starts getting hyped up to start the tournament. And next episode will be the beginning of the tournament. Guys, I'm excited. Last season was dope. I just loved all the great card fights. I am happy that they took a little step back from the mysticism and just said, fuck it, we're playing card games. Because I'm a big card game player. I love that shit. So Akina's gonna win. Let's be real. He's the pro tag. If he doesn't win, I'll be genuinely surprised. But let's see if the rest of my predictions are right about the matchups. So I'm saying Kagetsu, Erica, Michiru, and Akina are gonna win the first 4 matches. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments, guys. If you guys want to check me out on social media, those links will be down below. If you guys want to see me play some Cardfight Vanguard live, come by the live stream. Next Cardfight Vanguard live stream will be Tuesday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I would love to have you. We have a lot of decks to try out, and we're going to talk more about this first episode of the anime. That's going to be it from me, guys. I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.
See it in my eyes, I was born for this. I got demons on my side, you ain't right like this. I got reason to believe, I don't need it from my gifts. Only I can change the world and it go like this.